All right, everybody, welcome in to the TNGG Truck Series here. They're doing their qualifying runs right now. Got a ton of drivers out on track. They're only going to be able to take the top 43. So we will see how that works itself out here shortly. On track now is several drivers. This qualifying grid here. Right now we're looking at Jim Lothman coming through 3 and 4, headed down to that tri-oval. Gonna see what time he can throw up. His time is a 52:37. Fastest on track right now is a 52:31 with Brad Blage. Bill Petroff with a 52:31 as well. Michael Campbell, the third, 52:33. Chris Gore with a 52:33 as well. Brennan Gregg has completed his with a 52:33. Let's go back and see if we got some guys back here. Thomas Lane Jr. working on his second lap here. See if he can go any faster than he did on his first. First lap was a 52:44. Coming to the start-finish line. Moves up into 16th with the 52:40. Like we got 39 drivers that have taken a spot right at the moment. Scott Jones up to 31st now. Brian Wright completed his with the 52:45. Tucker Dorff just finished his first lap with a 52:44, so he's looking for more here as well. Donald Powers completed his second lap with a 52:50, so he's at 36th. Got about 10 drivers or so left. There's a bunch in the field here. Looking now at James Mohan. Looking to complete his first lap coming through the tri-oval. He is up to 16th with a 52:38. Like right now on the outside looking in is Travis Collins, Jessica Childs, and Nicholas Heslin right at the moment. He just clipped that wall, so that is not going to allow him to get in the show. Might have a few left here that have not elected to take a qualifying lap, so they might have just called it a day here. And they have, so and cut this field down to 43. Quick little warm up here, get guys back out on track a little bit. As they do that, let's go ahead and take a look here at the race info. This is the TNGG SuperSpeedway Blitz. That's round number 1. We've got Charlotte, Michigan, Atlanta, Nashville, and it'll close out at Talladega. Guys are racing for money, so a pole setter gets $10. First place every race gets 40. Second gets 10, and the championship at the end of the season 50. But we are set for, looks to be 80 laps here at Daytona International Speedway. 2.5 mile oval. Track temperature is a comfortable 91 degrees at the moment. Air temperature 71. So these guys should not be slipping and sliding very much at all. They are carrying a 55% fuel load. This should be good for, let's say, somewhere around 20 laps, and then they'll have to come to pit lane to get that fuel. Tires aren't going to be near the issue here at a super speedway. Here you're looking at who are you going to dance with. Quick little see how these guys are kind of drafting, working together. Nice little pack racing here. And times from qualifying versus the times from when they're drafting are drastically different. Tim Setzer, here's 48.69 fastest lap right now, where they wound up qualifying, what, 52 seconds? So almost 3 seconds faster just because you have another car pushing you around the track. Want to thank everybody for tuning in on YouTube. If you join in the chat, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are ever so close to getting to that 3,000 subscriber mark. Love doing what we do every day of the week here at Sim Racing Media. I should be close here to wrapping this up, but this is what you're going to see for most of the race. See these little two-car tandems that kind of stuck back in the field a little ways versus these 4 and 5 car runs here. '57 of Bill Petroff, 18 of Brennan Gregg, and the 5 of John Buwalda. Field has a little bit of time here on the screen to get started. So to be about calling it good here and get back into qualifying or gridding here after they qualified. Like they had 60 in the session. Cap it at 4 pit stalls we got. Jump through. They got Brad Sagal getting pole position with the 52.30. Bill Petroff just to his outside at 57. Then you go back to Timmy Reed and Michael Campbell, Chris Gore, and Rodney Kramer in row 3. Row 4, Brennan Gregg and Jeff Weimer. Then you got Everett Lane and Jason Schilling round out row 5. Row 6, Jeff Lasky, Joshua Jegan, Mike Allen, and Robert Amaral. Then you got Michael Mayu, then you got Tim Dixon back here, James Mohan, James Westerma. You go back to row 11. That has Thomas Lane Jr. and John Bawalda Jr. Greg Adams, Scott Vaughn. Back to 27th, Brad Kimbler, Hannibal Valenzuela, Mike Campbell, Tim Seitzer, Josh Shea, Brad Yorkman, Tucker Duff, Brian White, guys that look Andrew Stoltz, Donald Powers, they are going green. Fred Seigel, Bill Petroff, side by side still. Then you go back, Timmy Reed in that 256, the 49 of Michael Campbell on the outside. 23 of Chris Gore is up here making his way through. Still side by side, working their way down that Daytona backstretch here. Prince League's pulling away just a little bit on that inside lane. Outside lanes back into, like, battling towards third place. Bill Petroff currently sitting in fourth. Michael Campbell in fifth. Chris Gore making his way up through there, sitting third, trying to get to that back bumper of Timmy Reed in front of him. Working through lap 2. Brad Seigel pulling away on that inside line with Timmy Reed right behind him, but they can't seem to get Michael Campbell Jr. to... Oh, that's not Michael Campbell. That's Chris Gore on the inside. Michael Campbell Jr.'s up on the high side, trying to make his push towards the front with Bill Petroff there. Looks like they got a little checkup towards the back of the field here. Everett Lane back in 11th. Just in front of him, looks like an outside line, the 95 of Jason Schilling gets a little bit loose, can't quite seem to stay in line with that outside line, as that 22 is also moving around. That's Joshua Jernigan. All these trucks out here on this field, they are making their way through 4 laps right now, with not too many big woes and checkups and such. Tom Dixon back in 7th. Teams James Morhan in 18th. Lee Tidwell back in 19th. Thomas Lane Jr. in 19th now. Chris Lockey. Hannibal Valenzuela. And John Bawalda. That outside line there with Bill Petroff and Chris. Looks like, well, he didn't jump up there yet. Looks like Chris Gore was going to try and jump up there, but going to stay back there. 49 of Michael Campbell. The third is all over the back bumper there of Bill Petroff. Like he had to check up just a little bit. Otherwise, he was going to give him a little push in the wrong spot in that corner, as they are now through 5 here with Brad Slagle leading the race. Chris Gord gets pushed up into 3rd as they have that good run on that inside lane, the 18. Brendan Gregg. Michael Campbell Jr. still stuck out there with Bill Petroff trying to figure out a way to get that outside line to come in. Jeff Lasky's up there as well. Didn't take a ride on board. Of the second place driver right now, and Timmy Reed. All over that back bumper of the Team Extreme 052. You can see that outside lane start coming out. He looks pretty good up there up front. This is from Fred Slagle there. And then jump over here to the outside lane of Bill Petroff. Can't even see that driver down on the inside. So that outside lane fades back a little ways, starts to side draft a little bit, and keeps moving. This first part of this race is going to be a little not quite as interesting as when we get towards the latter part of the race, as Bill Petroff takes the lead here. See if he's going to clear and get down to the inside, and he will not. Inside line with Timmy Reed giving Brad Slagle the push there is just too much, and Bill Petroff lost the momentum there as soon as he got about a half car length clear of Michael Campbell. Go back to 6th position now with Brendan Gregg. Back to Everett Lane back in 7th. Rodney Kramer on the outside. As I was saying, the latter part of this race, they are going to stay side by side through the first part of this race, but when it comes towards the end, all bets are off, and they will go 3-4 wide. I would assume you're going to see some of these guys have been holding back just a little bit, make their run towards the front. Bill Petroff gets to the lead, but will not go down to the bottom there. Here they go. Spreading out just a little bit. Looks like Bill Petroff and Michael Campbell are going to stay together. Do have a lap car here coming up really fast. See which way he's going to go. Looks like he's going to try and stay high. We'll jump back up here towards the front. And it looks like they're going to try and squeeze by. Looks like everybody does. We'll drop back a little ways here as they're 3 wide through the corner. Once they get to that backstretch, they should be okay to get by that lap truck. So he is just kind of stuck out there, needs to basically stay out of the way and not get these trucks that are going faster. They're going to have to figure out pit strategy and all that coming up here soon too. That outside lane is going to have to basically wait for the inside line to go in, go around a lap, and then hit pit lane. Otherwise, you're going to get all 43 cars trying to go down pit lane. It's going to be a mess. There's going to be cars flying everywhere. Side by side, back towards second and third. Timmy Reed, Bill Petroff side by side. Everybody's kind of bouncing around. Truck gets thrown into the middle back here. Like a Team Extreme teammates. Kind of tell where they are with that nice neon green they have going on. We got Brad Seigel, Bill Petroff, and Timmy Reed. Michael Campbell, the third on the outside lane, and then back to Chris Gore, Jeff Weimer. Robert Armoral. Brendan Gregg down on the inside in that 16. Looks like towards the back, these guys are kind of getting strung out a little bit. 627 lost a little bit of ground there. Floated back. 39 was able to check up, and they will not touch and keep this thing going. So the top four have pretty much been the top four throughout. Nobody's really moving anywhere much at the moment. Like we got Donald Powers here, 39 Toyota. He's up 20 positions. Scott Jones just behind him is up 22. Have some guys further in the back. Andrew Stoltz up 9 in that 81 Toyota. Got people heading to pit lane right now. Like we got Jeff Lasky. Jeff Lasky's in. Everett Lane. Greg Adams. Back up front, the Bill and Brad show. Bill's been leading that outside line the whole time, and Brad's been leading that inside lane. Another driver had pit lane. As these guys make their way through turn 1 and 2, you're going to be seeing some guys that hit that pit lane in their sights here. Kind of take, like everybody pretty much got out of the way for the most part right now. Drivers switching lanes and trying to figure out which lane they want to be in. Be getting close to some pit stops here, as that inside lane is hitting pit lane right now. Tons of drivers are coming in, like about almost half the field. So that leaves the lead here to Bill Petroff and Michael Campbell the third. They jump down to the inside, and around goes the 56, 58, 39. Everybody is around there. Oh. At here. 56 gets in front of the 58. The 4 tries to avoid it, goes into the 39. Around he goes. The 13 goes through the grass. The 1 almost through the grass. 71 thought he had it missed, and the 4 floats down in front of him, and the 1 just gets clipped there at the end. So that is the first caution of the evening here. Everybody who didn't pit is headed to pit lane right now. While they do that, we will step aside for a moment and be back shortly. We are back here at the TNGG SuperSpeedway Blitz. Just had our first caution, first round of pit stops. Half of them wound up being able to pit under green, and then the rest wound up coming down caution. So we've got Jeff Weimer up front with Brendan Gregg, Timmy Reed, and Thomas Lane Jr. Green flag is going to be out shortly as soon as they get through this restart zone. 18 is down and away, gets a pretty good jump. That outside lane slowed down just a little bit, but there is a huge gap in that inside lane. That outside lane should be able to hook up and get going as the 24 and 38 are hooked up and pushing towards the front here. Oh, and we already have a wreck towards the back of the field. So as they tend to say, see what happens here. Ooh. Gets spun around. 77 for everybody. Don't know exactly what happened there, but got to race around here and get back to the front stretch. We'll see how this kind of shakes up that back half of the field. Won't really change too much on the front half. So Brendan Gregg is out front here. Jeff Weimer in second. Timmy Reed in third. Thomas Lane. Go ahead and take a look here at that truck. This is kind of a little fun. A fun series. He's the one that reached out and got us on this broadcast. Looking forward to seeing what they do here and seeing what they decide to do with their actual Truck Series League that starts in April. So this will benefit a couple of the guys that missed the start and had to start from the pits. They'll get one of the guys will get a lap back here shortly, as we've had a couple cautions. Pretty quick succession here. While we're it looks like they're going to try and start their TNGG iRacing Esports League on April Fool's Day with the Daytona International Speedway. And I think they have a 32 race. It's got a 32 race season, so from April to like the first week in November, they're going to be throwing that on. Like I said, they've got this mini series here that's going on. They'll move from here at Daytona to Charlotte Legacy for 100 laps next week. Like the pace lights are out on the pace truck. Truck should be getting ready to get back to green flag racing here, and we'll see if we can get a few more green flag laps and get to these 80 laps done here real quick. Thomas Lane Jr. on the inside, Timmy Reed on the outside. See if we can take a look from nose here of the 052, our pace setter. Pace truck is in. See how he gets going here through that restart zone. And they are back to full throttle here. Get sucked down a little bit to that inside lane to stay right on the back of this 20 Oreo Ritz truck. As you can see from this point of view here, Thomas Lane Jr. and Greg Adams Jr. are pulling away on that inside lane. Guys are trying to switch lanes and figure out which way is the best way to be here. That inside lane is moved out in front, and we've got basically 5 trucks on that inside lane before you have anybody on that outside. And they're bouncing around there a little bit towards the back. Looks like everybody saved it, and we're staying green here. Trying to figure out which way is the best way to be. That's that outside lane. After that huge checkup, everybody jumped down to the inside. And now we're almost single file for the length of the field. So the 42 of Lee Tidwell keeps trying to get that nose out just a little bit. Trying to see if maybe Timmy Reed will go with him and make a 2x2 with that high side, but doesn't look like Reed's able to suck up close enough to make it work. As Thomas Lane and Greg Adams are able to run pretty much wherever they want to. They run down towards the bottom, and then they kind of float up a little bit. Ooh. Thomas Lane Jr. there got a little bit loose, went down below that yellow line. Trying to get it back under control, as it looked like the 29 there gave him a little bit of a bad bump. Lap truck stays high. 28 laps complete, working on 29. We'll see what happens here. See if Timmy Reed's going to suck up there and get that jump to the outside, or if he's just going to stay down low. And it looks like he's just going to stay down low. Try and get to that back bumper, but these guys are trying to figure out if they just want to sit here and log some laps or make that high line work. As you see them almost 3 wide back towards the back there. Got Tom Dixon up high. Jim Loftman back there trying to make something work a little bit. Guy who started outside pole, Bill Petroff, is back here in 12th position. But Junior and Junior, Thomas Lane Jr. and Adams Jr., Greg Adams Jr. there, up front with both those Fords. Doesn't look like they might have got a little more shaken up there. Like the 34, might be the 24 on track, is Everett Lane leading that high line as Timmy Reed elects now to go up high. Kind of left Lee Tidwell down on the bottom. Looked like Lee was trying to coax Reed out to make that move a little earlier, but Reed kind of sat back and waited and saw that outside line start to move to the front, and he elected to pull out in front of him and get on their coattails here. So we're back to 2x2 racing, back through probably, I'm going to say clear back to 12th, 13th here. Jeff Weimer just ran the fastest lap on track with a 47.43. So he definitely got some drafting help there, as it looks like our pole setters back here as well. So the two guys on the front row are currently outside the top 10. These guys up on the front row, only one that hasn't gained more positions than 5 is Timmy Reed in that leading that outside lane. Got Thomas Lane Jr., Greg Adams Jr., both of them up 20 plus. Perry Mellum up there 20 as well. Lee Tidwell up 14. These guys have definitely moved around and took advantage of that early caution. Were able to gain that track position after they might not have been so happy with the way they qualified. We're going to be getting close to do some pit stops here, because it looks like most of the field last pitted on anywhere between 15 and 20 for a lot of them that took the early pit stop there under the green. Everybody else came up under caution, or came under that second caution with 23 laps. So got a little ways to go for them, because they've only been on track for about 10 laps. They can make it probably about 10 more. So we'll see probably at least, pit here, probably at least 3 more pit stops before this race is done, depending on cautions. I've seen this several times at several different tracks different leagues that I call. You get these guys that just wiggle just a little bit, and as soon as somebody does, it's like an accordion effect all the way back through the field. But if you can get 2 or 3 guys that are hooked up, you don't have very much input on that steering wheel, they can definitely move towards the front, as Timmy Reed elects to jump down into that bottom line. He is going to lead that for a little ways. Got the 34 of Everett Lane leading that outside line now. With looks like 61, well, that's 61, but it looks like the 27 on track of Terry Mellum, as it looks like Greg Adams Jr. is hitting pit lane. So we should see a couple others getting pretty close to pit. The last pit on 16, 17. They need a pit pretty soon here, as we heard a couple of drivers that were running out of fuel, but depending on where they're running at on track. So here they go. First one that probably needs to pit is Timmy Reed, but Lee Tidwell and Tucker Dorf hit pit lane now. Jason Schilling in as well. Everett Lane leading that outside lanes up to the front. Timmy Reed battles back on that inside lane. And Everett Lane clears the inside lane, jumps down. And away we go. Timmy Reed coming in. Tom Dixon, Jeff Weimer. Michael Mayu. And lap truck staying high, trying to stay out of the way. So there's 3 wide right now trying to pass that lap truck. Everett Lane down on the inside with Thomas Lane Jr. behind him. Perry Mellum is leading that outside line now. Car coming out of the pits, almost pulled up in front of Everett Lane, elected not to, but slowed him down just enough where that outside lane's gonna clear, and Terry Mellum pulls down to the inside. Bill Petroff has made a huge run. He's up to third now, second in that outside lane, back to almost where he was when he started this race. Okay, we got 38, Thomas Lane Jr. 53. '53 looks like a lap truck. Everybody else heads to pit lane. So the running order right now is Everett Lane leading the race. And then we got a couple lap trucks mixed in here as Bill Petroff is running in second on the outside line. We go back to Brennan Gregg. Ooh, gets a little loose there. Does Everett Lane. We got a few trucks hitting pit lane right now. So as they go to do this, got drivers pretty much almost all over the track now. Lead group of about, say, 4 trucks here have several lappers mixed in with them. But Bill Petroff is out in that outside lane, and he is trying to make it back to the front here. Scott Vaughn, the number 1 truck on the outside lane. Number 27 on my scoring monitor. Side by side, that outside lane is going to get a little bit bigger push there. So here we go. Side by side. Lost a little bit of ground there. Gonna jump down to the inside to Scott Vaughn. He's still sitting in second place. Has that lap truck between him and Bill Petroff. And then Brennan Gregg. The one hit pit lane that time. Bill Petroff and Brennan Gregg are going to have to pit here sometime soon. And the problem is you're going to have to go in with people you basically can trust, because you can't go in by yourself. And as we do that, I'm going to go ahead and take my second break here, and we will be back in a minute. You won't miss anything. This is Sim Racing Media. All right, welcome back here to the TNGG SuperSpeedway Blitz. Didn't miss anything as we were away. We are now completed 46 of 80 here. You guys have been putting on a show. Timmy Reed is back up front. Got the 411 of Tom Dixon behind him, and you're starting to see a color scheme here that is making its way around this track. And just look at that inside lane. Only one truck that is not that neon green color there. I don't know if that makes it faster or not. Hey, you never know. Thank everybody for tuning in. Want to join us in the chat? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on those bell notifications. Do this multiple times a week, multiple times a night. If you're in for want to watch something a little interesting. We do have the 24 beers going on from the Thunderclap series. That'll be on a bit later. Probably just about getting ready to start here. Their second stint, they did 3 hours this morning. They'll do 3 hours here in a little bit, and then 6 hours tomorrow. Catch all that action right here on Sim Racing Media. Ooh, looks like there's a truck down on the apron, got a little bit loose, went down there, saved it, and we continue on here. Let's see. Like everybody pretty much are almost on the same strategy here. The only one that isn't, it looks like Greg Adams Jr. there. He last pitted on lap 35. So he'll be getting pretty close to hitting that pit window here. The rest of these guys all pitted on lap 37 to 40. Looking back through the field, the only one that pitted later was Brennan Gregg here, the 18. So looks like Jim Laughman hit pit lane right now. So we have 30 laps to go here. These guys pretty much settled down and are making their way through these laps. Everett Lane is back on that high line. Trying to get pushed, but just can't seem to stay straight. They bounce around there. That's like the 29. Is 29 might be a couple laps down as well, so we'll see if you guys elect to hit pit lane all together when the earliest one does, but right now, look, take a look here. Oh, that's Alienware. Go back to Team Extreme with Tom Dixon. Everett Lane on the outside. 00 of Michael Mayu. Greg Adams looks like that's who's in the 6th there. For 29. Pole setters back in 6th in the 052 Team Extreme. Like we had some lappers getting down out of the way to make room for the race here. These guys trying to make it all the way to as close as they can get to, I'm going to say lap 60, but I don't think they're going to make it because they're, what, 40... Yeah, I don't think there's any way they're going to make it. They might, but on one more pit stop. So Team Extreme is starting to run away with this race here at Daytona. Got this second group back here, but they are off the pace by a bunch. The distance between Scott Vaughn here and Everett Lane is 21.5 seconds. So Everett Lane is about, what, 8th in this lead group here. And Scott Vaughn, and he's losing time the more they mess around, it looks like. So we'll see if the 256 and the 411 all elect to stay out and pit together. Looks like the number 6 of Greg Adams hit pit lane that time by. And we have caution. There we go. See if we can get a better look. There we go. 57 comes up right in. Sends him right into the wall, scrapes it up pretty bad there for that Team Extreme. Goes back down to the inside, stacks them all up. Huge wreck. John Bawalda. Everybody just got crashed. Mike Allen. James Monahan. So with that, everybody's going to be hitting pit lane here. 25 laps. To decide who wins this inaugural race here at Daytona. Looks like Greg Adams is going to maybe inherit the lead here after he made his pit stop a little bit early. We'll see what happens once everything gets rolled through here. Should have a couple guys electing to take that wave around. Take that wave around probably here in a moment, but they've got everybody from Team Extreme coming up right behind them. But if what I heard earlier is they can make it 18 to 20 laps, they've got 25, so if they have a couple more under caution, it'll be close to see if they're going to make it all the way to the end here. All right, so we got Greg Adams Jr. Like he's going to be up front here. Timmy Reed in second. Michael Ayu. Tom Dixon. Brad Sagal, Everett Lane, Brennan Gregg, Scott Vaughn, Thomas Lane Jr., and Brad Yonkman make up the top 10 We'll see what happens now that these guys are all bunched back up. See if Team Extreme makes that run and pulls ahead like they were doing earlier. They got those trucks nose to tail, and we're making a dash for that checkered flag. Caution came out right before they were headed to pit lane. So they pitted all together, and they get all stacked back up nice and easy. Greg Adams will have the button here when they get to that Geico restart zone. Pace truck is in. Greg Adams has the field, and he goes as soon as he hits that Geico restart zone. He has got to make a mad dash to get out in front. The 411 of Tom Dixon is right behind him. Got another Team Extreme coming out of the pits early here. Timmy Reed back in third. Michael Mayu in fourth. Everett Lane jumped out to the outside lane, is going to stay out there where he has been comfortable. So Team Extreme is stacked up behind Greg Adams here. Everett Lane in the high side all by himself until Michael Mayu jumps out. Tom Dixon jumps out in front of Everett Lane, is going to try and make that high side work. Timmy Reed stays down low and is on the inside as he just jumps up and joins his Team Extreme teammates. Team Extreme has 4 trucks in that outside lane with Everett Lane splitting them. We'll see if they can get lined up and make that work, as Tom Dixon right now is almost driving just the middle line just to mess with people, it looked like almost. The 29 of Greg Adams Jr. is making his way back towards the front on that inside lane. That outside lane has not been able to get hooked up and make a run, as the 24 of Everett Lane jumps down to the inside and pushes past Tom Dixon, and he is going to lead that lap here. Tom Dixon floats back to third in that outside lane, but they keep doing that accordion effect as they come down the backstretch. He is moving up towards the front here, but Everett Lane battles back side by side. The 2-truck tandem versus the three truck trio, and if they could stay together, that outside lane should have enough momentum just to go past, but they keep bouncing around and doing that accordion effect. They can't seem to keep those wheels all pointed in the same direction at the same time. So Team Extreme on the outside, Everett Lane and Greg Adams down on the inside. Tom Dixon elects to jump down, so Team Extreme inside outside right now. So they will control the race here. Timmy Reed, Tom Dixon back and forth. Here they come. They're starting to do a little bit more side drafting as they're pulling teammates up towards the front. The 052 is outside outside in row 2, trying to get back to the front where he started this race. As teammate Michael Mayu in front of him. Mayu goes down to the inside. Looks like lap truck barely got out of the way before they got there. So Thomas Lane Jr. sitting in second on the outside lane, pushing Team Extreme Brad Schlegel up to the front. See if he jumps down in front of his teammates or if he's going to stay up in that high lane. As Scott Vaughn, see him drop down to the inside. Side by side they go. See if they can. Looks like he's going to try and side draft just a little bit. See if he can make that work to get back to the front. See if he, if they elect to control both inside and outside lanes, or if they just want to get hooked up together on that bottom lane and make a go of it here. Because we saw earlier when they were all hooked up together, they were pulling away relatively easy. And it looks like that bottom lane doesn't quite have that accordion effect going. They just have a little bit too many gaps between the trucks. So 17 to go. The man who started on the pole is leading the race right at the moment. Looks like the 20 there of Tucker Dorf, that outside lane, made it back to the lead lap and is working his way, trying to work his way back to the front. Looks like there is a lap truck in between them there. But Brad's on the high side. Looks like he's kind of trying to control that line with 16 laps to go. Team Extreme, 1, 2, 3. 2 on the inside, 1 on the outside. Thomas Lane Jr. trying to, if anybody wants to make it 3 wide, at some point he has got to be thinking that's the only way he's going to get around this Team Extreme. But you have to wait and go at just the right time, otherwise you could be a sitting duck out front. So Slagle and Mayu 1, 2. Outside, inside. Nobody really going anywhere at the moment. Everybody's kind of figured out where they want to be. Maybe doing a little bit of maneuvering. Probably most of the maneuvering is going to be done here on the radio when we get closer to that finish. We'll see if anybody's going to have any problems, or if they're going to, or problems, any fuel strategy issues with 14 laps to go. They last pitted on lap 55. Did have a few laps under caution, so we'll see if that plays a factor. See who's the fastest on track right now. Looks like the leaders right now. But these guys leading the race are definitely using a lot more fuel than the guys sitting 4, 5 back there. Just kind of drafting along, staying where they are. Looks like Bill Petriff decides he's going to take fuel right now. We'll see if anybody elects to stay out and hope they make it to the end, or if everybody's going to come down here shortly, or wait and see if they can make it a little bit longer. Sounds like almost everybody's going to have to hit pit lane. We'll see if See, when they elect to go up front, Mayu and Slagle, Reed, Lane Jr., Tom Dixon, Tucker Dorf, Everett Lane, Greg Adams Jr., Scott Vaughn, Brennan Gregg are the top 10. Kind of getting strung out here towards the back. You have 14 trucks that are on the lead lap. Probably have a little bit more here once they hit that pit lane. Almost hearing pretty much everybody's going to have to pit. Just a matter of when. Like a 19 slow truck down coming out of pit lane. Stays down out of the way. Ends up on that racing surface there. Slagle dumps down to the inside. Is going to get in front of Mayu and leaves Thomas Lane Jr. up on the high side to lead that one with the 20 of Tucker Dorf behind him. Ten laps to go, and business is about to pick up here at Daytona. So we'll see if Lane Jr. there and Dorf can get that line to get hooked up and make a push towards the front. Looks like they're almost in the V formation as Lane Jr. is trying to side draft as much as he can to try and pull himself up even with that third place car of Timmy Reed. So Timmy Reed and Lane Jr. side by side, and it looks like everybody from Team Extreme is hitting pit lane, and the one of Scott Vaughn just wrecks almost everybody there. But they're down out of the way, and it's going to stay green. So let's go back here. We'll take a view here. Stop at the moment. I can get a better view. Here we go. Take a look here. Scott Vaughn right into the back bumper of the 29. Sent everybody around. See Michael Mayu getting spun around, the 29 sliding around. And we are still green flag racing. Thomas Lane Jr. coming off pit lane, trying to get as much speed as he can so he doesn't get caught. Get passed by those other trucks. And it looks like Team Extreme is going to be able to pass him here as they are already hooked up together and running. They got Tom Dixon, Everett Lane, Timmy Reed back there. And Thomas Lane Jr. just basically gets run over. 37 can stay behind him. Rodney Kramer there. They could make up a little bit of ground and catch Timmy Reed. And if all three of them hook up, could be a race towards the finish with 7 laps to go here. So the difference between, it's the gap's gone now as they hook up there and are able to catch the 2 lead cars. So this group of 5 will be the ones looking like they're going to be vying for the checkered flag here. Unless this second group here of Mayu, Schlegel, and Adams can catch up. But this front group has a couple lap trucks that are around them as well. So if they can get them lined up, they might be able to pull away a little bit further. As you go back through here, the last truck there is going to be Rodney Kramer, and they've got almost a 5-second lead over Mayu back in 6th. There's those 2 lap trucks, the 53 and 55 between them. But if they stay up with this lead group, they should be able to pull away and not have to worry about it for too much. Thanks, Mike Campbell. Awesome to see this many guys come out for a race like this. So 5 laps to go, and going to come down to the nitty-gritty here shortly. Here they go. Looks like that second group is losing about 200ths a lap, so they are not closing in. We are going to be 4 to go this time by, so it'll definitely be who do you want your dancing partner to be once you get down here with a couple laps to go. You don't want to pull out and show your cards too early because they could regroup and make that pass right back. You also don't want to wait too long because by then that's the race and it's over. So right now, Tom Dixon, Everett Lane, Timmy Reed, Thomas Lane Jr., and Rodney Kramer are the top 5 in this group of about 7 trucks. There is 2 back there that are a lap down or so, but they are definitely helping this speed. It's going to be interesting to see kind of what Timmy Reed does here. If he's going to pull out and try and get Thomas Lane to come with him, or if he's going to try and move Everett Lane kind of out of the way and help his teammate up there get a little bit better run. And as they come down the backstretch, we're getting closer. We're getting to that popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go. As soon as they cross the start-finish line, you got to be thinking what you're going to do to set up your move to make that pass once it comes to that final lap. You're probably going to see Everett Lane slowly try and back off just enough to get a gap between him and Tom Dixon. And if he can do that and get a run on that outside lane, he might be able to have Thomas Lane Jr. come up behind him and give him a little push in that draft before they all spread out and try and make their own individual run for that checkered flag. And as I say, it looks like Timmy Reed kind of backed off a little bit, trying to get that run. As he does, goes up to the high line. Thomas Lane Jr. goes with him. Final lap, here we go. Tandem, tandem, tandem. Timmy Reed on the outside. Tom Dixon down on the inside. You got Thomas Lane Jr. and Everett Lane on the inside. Side by side they go. Outside line has a little bit of a run, making their way through. jumps down to the inside. The 411 gets loose. Thomas Lane Jr. also gets a little bit loose. And here they come down to the checkers, and it is going to be Thomas Lane Jr. winning the race. Rodney Kramer looks like he might have got up for second. Timmy Reed back in third. So Thomas Lane Jr. up 21 positions to win the TNGG SuperSpeedway Blitz inaugural race here at Daytona. Did have a little bit of drama there towards the end as a lap truck tried to kind of move up into the racing groove instead of just staying down out of the way. So we will have some interviews here shortly. See if we can race winner there. Thomas Lane Jr. burning down the house here. And see if we can talk to our third place finisher here. Hey, Timmy Reed, Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Hey, man, heck of a race you guys put on here.
Yep.
I mean, Team Extreme there had the numbers, had the place to be. Just not quite enough at the end there, but
yeah, we was having fun.
I mean, I don't know that I've seen an open, well, basically an open lobby, a hosted race open, have that many green flag laps. I mean, you guys put on a heck of a show.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the race, man?
It was good. Our team, yeah, we hooked up and we did good together. We had a little bit of separation right there on that last pit stop, but we worked it out.
Yeah. Well, heck of a run. Congratulations on P3. Looks like you guys have about 5 more races in this SuperSpeedway Blitz. Look forward to maybe talking to you again at Charlotte.
Yeah, man. You did a good job.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
All right. Let's see if we can get second place finisher here. I do not see him in the chat, so let's see if we can get our race winner here. Thomas, man, heck of a race. You got me, Thomas?
Yeah, I got you there.
All right. Hey, man, heck of a race. Came from basically half the field to win here. Was that kind of the strategy to qualify just good enough to kind of stay out of the way, or?
I tell you, I don't really know where that came from, but I'll take it. Really, it was just to try to stay up front. Is what I was hoping I could do, and just kind of run with some guys that was gonna stay clean and stay in the draft, and it kind of worked out pretty good.
You guys definitely put on a heck of a show, like I was talking earlier. I mean, you get in these hosted lobbies and you never know exactly what you're going to get. You guys put on a heck of a show. 60 guys showed up, 43 qualified for the race. I mean, then you only had a couple cautions.
Yeah, it's we've been doing a little bit of these, and it's actually been turning out pretty good. We've been getting a good group of guys. A lot of them are starting to join in, and we hope that next week it'll be another good one at Charlotte. It'll be at the Charlotte Legacy, and 100 laps. We hope it's going to be just as good.
Awesome. Well, congrats on the win. Look forward to seeing what we can do with these next basically 6 weeks before you guys get started on your season long league. But
Oh
I want to say thanks for having me on board and allowing me to broadcast this race, because it was definitely entertaining. Had a little bit of everything going on.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got to do something with that team Extreme. I got to get me a little bit more of a team here. See if we can't work on them guys there. But yeah, them guys run good all the time though. They really do good.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you get back to your team and celebrating your win here, and maybe I'll talk to you next week.
Yep, sure enough, Mike. We appreciate the broadcast, man. Everything was good.
Awesome. All right, so that was race winner there. We'll kind of go through results real quick here. We got Thomas Lane Jr. winning the race. Rodney Kramer wasn't in Discord to talk to him, but second place finisher. Third place was Timmy Reed, Tom Dixon, Everett Lane had a pretty good run. Michael Mayu in sixth. Brad Slagle qualified pole, got a little bit money in his pocket there. Greg Adams Jr. in eighth. Brad Youngman in ninth. Bill Petroff qualified outside row one. Still walked away with the top 10. Tucker Dorf, Jason Sheelan, Brian Wright, Alan Isaac, Jeff Weimer, Robert Amaral, Jeff Lasky, Tim Setzer round out 18th there. And then you go back to Tony Brent, Wayne Ruprecht, Michael Campbell. Thanks again, Michael, for checking in on the chat. Love to see and interact with people there. Jim Laughman in 22nd. Brian Ishkian in 23rd. Scott Vaughn, 24th. Brennan Gregg, 25th. Joshua Jurgen, 26th. Michael Campbell Jr. in 27th. Lee Tidwell, 28th. 29th is Mike Allen. 30th, John Buwalda Jr. James Monahan in 31st. Harry Mellum, 32nd. James Wisterma in 33rd. Scott Jones, 34th. Chris Gore, 35th. Larry Eddy, 36th. Annabelle Valenzuela in 37th. Donald Powers, 38th. Then we go back to Corey Lockley, Josiah, Andrew Stoltz, Brian Kimbler, Shane Bradshaw. Round out the drivers that made the field. Want to thank everybody for showing up. There was a total of 59 looks like that made a qualifying effort. They definitely took the top 43. They put on a heck of a race. So with that, once again, this has been the TNGG SuperSpeedway Blitz. I am Mike Damoni from SRM Sim Racing Media. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube. And if you're down to watch a little more racing, maybe something a little bit different, check out our YouTube page for the 24 Beers, part of the Thunderclap series here on Sim Racing Media. They'll have their probably a half hour into their 3-hour endurance race. So check that out, 24 Beers. They'll be back tomorrow as well. But from everybody here at the TNG iRacing Esports League, everybody at Sim Racing Media, I'm Mike Damoni. I will see you guys next week. Good night.